Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video. So we are building a fall-inspired home that has more of a coastal vibe to the home. We are in Windenburg, so we are in the bottom right-hand corner of the world, which is right on the water, which I think is such a beautiful lot. Like the views from this lot are absolutely stunning. And I had an idea to build something that was more kind of autumn and fall-inspired, but was kind of coastal. Like I wanted to kind of create a house that was not your traditional kind of craftsman's family kind of fall home. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more beachy and yeah, something that really fit this area. The design concept that I had was kind of this, where this chimney was placed at the front of the build and a really tall high pitched roof. This was very much part of my design because conceptually I always have some form of point of design in everything that I build, and that was the element that I had for this build. Yeah, so we just curved the roof ever so slightly. I just wanted to add a little bit more detail in the front and then just some gabled roofs in the back. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about this house as it unfolds. So the family that I envision living in this home is actually the Clark family, and we will get to meet the Clark family this week when we visit their Creator Sim video. The Clark family is a family of so mum, dad, and two children. So there is a toddler and a child, a female toddler and a male child. So the household is run by Reese and Laura Clark. So Reese Clark is a fisherman. He's adventurous, very outdoorsy. All of the family is outdoorsy. Laura is more, she's outdoorsy, but she's into wellness. So maybe she wants to be a beautician, or maybe she wants to be a yoga instructor, something along those lines, but she's outdoorsy as well. So she's very much into that kind of aesthetic. All right, so let's talk about the home. So I didn't know what color to go for. So I wanted to obviously emulate the fall time, but I wanted to make sure that it was still very coastal. So I think I end up, yes, I go with this shingled kind of roof. I love this kind of textured roof. It kind of gives the vibe that you see it a lot in Brindleton Bay, which is very much a coastal world. And I loved the colors. So I used the Vampire's Pack brick on the chimney section. I really loved that because it was a bit faded, and it kind of gave, I love using faded or muted tones in more coastal builds because it kind of gives the implication that they might have been bleached by the sun or a bit worn and what have you. And it kind of just gives me like boat shack vibes, which I think is actually quite cool. So we went with that, and I'm just putting in some columns. I do replace the columns. I obviously love these get together columns. Yeah, so a little bit more about this build. So this is obviously, I think it's a 3x2. And I think it has, I think I do intend to put a cat in this build, but I forgot to add them to the Creator Sim family, which, we're not surprised at this point, but maybe they adopt. And yeah, so originally I went with, so it's a 3x2. Yeah, I believe it's a 3x2 because there is an ensuite to the master bedroom, which is really nice. And I didn't know what color I wanted to go with. So originally I went with this gray tone, but we do end up changing it to more of like a burgundy muted red. And I just think it fits this build so much. I think that this home, it needed something that was more on the lines of fall inspired. And I believe that, changing the color of the wallpaper was definitely going to fit that build. I had to get rid of the roof trim because it was clipping. And yeah, the seasonal frieze I really love. I think it gives a lot of like shape to the build by also giving that kind of fall vibe. And yeah, alrighty. So let me know in the comment section down below what you did for Halloween. And are we still interested in fall type builds? Because I would be definitely down to doing more fall inspired builds, but maybe of like different types of homes, maybe like a modern fall home. That would be really interesting to see, because obviously these type of homes do lead more towards, more of a rustic vibe. Yeah. All right, we are getting into the landscaping, and the landscaping starts by marking out some flower beds, which I use the Smooth Keeper fence for that. You guys know this trick. And I just started in with the terrain paint. So sometimes when I'm not really sure about how I want to go about landscaping, I do this. I start mapping it out. I might start with my paths. So I've got a path that's kind of wrapped around towards the ocean, and then I've got a path that's like just kind of wraps around to the front porch, and then I've got some garden beds, and then I've got some more of these like kind of like sporadic garden beds, I guess, which is what I'm doing now. And then we are now moving into the floor plan. So the shape of this build is very obscure. And I think I did struggle with bedrooms. I think they are very small in this build. I think that looking back on it, I should have probably made the household a little bit smaller, or I should have gotten a bigger lot. But we made it work in the end. This was a home that I'd actually designed on grid paper. So I do that. I do design floor plans on grid paper. I think it's such a fun thing to do. But I also find that with YouTube, it's so much easier. Like, I never have to worry about what I'm building because it's already planned. It's already like designed. And I think that it gives me a little bit more reassurance about what I'm building because I have that kind of framework there. Gone in with some spandrels here. I didn't really need to, but I think it actually gave a little bit more of that kind of, when I think of fall, I also think of a little bit more like cabin like vibes and stuff. So I think the spandrels sometimes offer that vibe. And I went with the white because once we placed the wallpaper, which we're just doing here, that cats and dogs wallpaper that has that kind of, that muted kind of rust brown, red-ish tone, it's beautiful, and how it interacts with the white. And it just became literally the whole focus of this build. And we've gone in with the cats and dogs flooring. And yeah, I just really loved it, the light tones that with the red. I just thought it just shaped this build so well. So yes, 2 bathrooms. So that would be the ensuite and then the main bathroom. We didn't really have to do 2 separate bathrooms, but I thought that it was quite nice. Seasons windows. Seasons windows I thought were really good. I've used the seasons doors. Lots of seasons in this build. It very much gives that vibe that we need for the fall time. And yeah, so I really hope that you've been enjoying the Creator Sim content that I've been doing a lot lately. Let me know in the comment section down below if that is something you are enjoying and you would like to see more of, or would you like to see some Let's Plays? Would you like to, maybe I could do a rags to riches with you guys and we could create the sim and then in time create the home. I would really love your input of where you would like to see kind of my content go. And yeah. All right, so let's get back to the build. We did just change the wallpaper of the outside to that more of that suitable red color, and it just looks so much better. We are starting the main part of the landscaping. So I've gone in with a debug fence. The fence, just this wooden planked fence, really fit this build. I think it really adds to the aesthetic. It's more like coastal, but it's also very family-like. And these, I wanted to use a lot of the kind of pieces that were in the world. So I did start with Get Together, and I did make sure that all the landscaping basically came from the area, because the build that we were trying to build kind of should have been in Brindleton Bay now that I'm kind of looking back at it. But I felt that, Windenburg, like this lot was just absolutely beautiful. And I felt that, it was a better lot. But it could have totally worked in Brindleton Bay as well. Yeah, that I think it's the my Beddington lot or something. That would have been such a beautiful lot to place this on. I really loved the kind of broken pieces. I really loved like mixing them and the shapes. And then when you do the debug fencing, just make sure you find the posting pieces and you really can just customize the fence to whatever you need it to be and just make it look really applicable. I have removed the foundation just so that I can do the landscaping, so I can post it really close. But yeah, and I just put in some flowers in this front flower bed. Just kept it really simple. I really liked how I use a combination of rocks and dried grass and more like live flowers, and we use some more hydrangeas at the front of the build here. It's like a combination of all sorts of flowers. I just thought it was really nice. It definitely fits the bill more to the coastal build. It reminded me a lot of that coastal starter home that I built, which is on the channel. I will actually link it down below for you. And that is such a beautiful home where I really used all different types of landscaping, and it's one of my favorite builds that I've done. I feel like I say this all the time, but I definitely think that my building has improved. Like it's interesting on Twitter, sometimes I post the screenshots of like older builds when I first started to learn how to build, which was roughly about a year ago, and you can just see the improvement in the homes. they just look so much nicer now. The one thing I have to learn how to do is to make sure that I play test for you guys, because I have found in some recent builds that unfortunately there might be like one element that's not functional, and I just have to move it ever so slightly to make it functional before I put it onto the gallery. But I will get better at that, you guys. I will. That's definitely something that I will be looking into doing, is really like auditing my channel and seeing what I can do to offer the best content for you guys. You know, it's very important to me to remain consistent and make sure that you guys are enjoying what you're seeing. Alrighty, so enough about me. Let's get back into the build. So as you can see, the landscaping is very much coming along, and it's just so beautiful. We really line the paths with flowers, which is something I always do anyway. I really like that kind of beachy, kind of rustic corner here that we're just doing the terrain paint now, and then a little bit more of a more put together front of the build. So yeah, I really liked how this build. Alrighty, we're just going in with some terrain paint around the build, and we are now inside. So we actually start with the living room in this build. I normally do the kitchen, and this is such a beautiful home. So I started with a fireplace. I knew I wanted a fireplace there, and then I put this high school years couch. I really liked the tartan print, and I wanted to mix a lot of the high school years and cats and dogs objects together. I really love the kind of coastal, homely, cozy vibe from cats and dogs, with that kind of vintage art deco, but excuse me, coastal vibes from the high school years pack. I really loved how they played well, and they were assets that played well together at the time. So as this is a fall build, we do have pumpkins, we do have a lot of fall inspired things, definitely for the season, some Harvest Fest stuff. So we just alt placed and just cluttered up the space. But yeah, as I mentioned, cats and dogs was very heavily used, and yeah, it's just turned into a really beautiful space. And this is where the Clark family is sitting in their photos, and yeah, I really loved the shelving here. I thought that I do this in all my builds, as you guys know, but I do it because I want spaces for you guys to put family photos. I think it's really important. We've put a degree here. I really love that kind of the backyard stuff, kind of toolbox that has the flowers in it. I really love it. I think they're pansies. I don't know what they are, but they're so cute. All right, we are now into the kitchen. So this is very much parenthood. I love this kitchen. This kitchen is so beautiful. I love that we were able to put a bit of island seating in here, and I just love the color scheme of this kitchen. I think it's very kind of family orientated. It has everything you need. I love the color tones, and there's something about having a back door, like the kitchen and then like a back door, that just makes so much sense to me. I really love it. So this is actually just and then you'd go through the door to the back of the build, and it kind of makes sense. Like someone's been to the beach, they come in and they enter through the kitchen. Like that seems realistic, and I think in a lot of Australian homes that are more coastal, you would see a lot of that. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of home. But yeah, we do clutter up. We add a lot of shelving. This is a lot of cool kitchen stuff here. I love that get together coffee, wall mounting piece, some chopping boards. And yeah, but this is just such a cozy living room. Like this is what I think of, like really family homes. Like this is what I think of, and I really think I hit the brief with this home. I'm really proud of just how like homely it looks, and it's a very stark difference to the modern home that we saw earlier in the week, where it's a family home, but it just has such a different vibe. And yeah, and this is why like I love building so much, because your imagination is just like it's limitless. Like there's no bounds to it, and you really can go from a really like modern, sophisticated, minimally decorated home to this very kind of vibrant, fall inspired family home, and it just looks so lived in. And you know what would go really well with this? The new clutter kit. Absolutely. The new clutter kit comes out on the 10th, and I just absolutely feel that this would go so well with this. I am so excited to be able to literally use every item. It's one of those kits that I think the community has really asked for, and it's been very overdue that we don't have it. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, what more can I say about this living room? We do put a mirror. I think I just wanted to utilize that space. I really liked the dining table in this build. I thought it was really sweet to be able to fit like a little breakfast table. And I really liked how I positioned it kind of within that curved section of the spandrel. So just to utilize the space, because when you do have a smallish home like this, space is so important. You have to really utilize every inch. And I remembered a decoration box, guys. It's so interesting. We had our fall and Halloween week, and I think there was only one home where I put a decoration box. uh, but that happens when you build, and when you build all the time. It'd be amazing to see which objects you forget. I do family homes all the time, but I always forget to use the vacuum cleaners. I always forget to do laundries. I always forget hampers and clocks, wall clocks. Clocks are the biggest things that I forget in Sims builds. And I feel like I really have to take my time and go through the build and buy catalog and really see what there is. All right, so here is the front porch. I am obsessed with this. I really loved that rug from high school years and those seasonal purple couches. I'm obsessed. Seasons has the best kind of purple swatch where it's just like this. It's like a plum but violet purple. It's so beautiful. I really loved that space. It's very inviting. Got a chest table. Just putting some planters around. Would not be an Anna build without them. I just really love that because I think it just adds, it's an easy piece of gameplay to add to your builds. I do just go in with some fencing. I will have to adjust those planters because they are clipping. But yeah, the build is very much coming together. We are just going to then move on to, I believe, the kids' rooms and the master bedroom. But yeah, I just wanted to finish up these porches. We put some knitting. I do put some children's play objects, and I think we do extend the pathing. Yep, I think I'm doing it now. I just love this. And I just made it a little bit more patchy. Maybe the dirt had faded on the path, and I really love it. It's such a beautiful home. And this is a good size home. If you play with kind of what I would call a medium-sized family, this would be a perfect home because it literally just has everything you need, and it's really well decorated, and it's a beautiful lot, especially if you've got outdoorsy sims. It's right on the beach pretty much, prime location. I just really love this lot. We put a potty in the main bathroom. So this is just so this is just the master bedroom ensuite. It's pretty much the same. There's nothing really too much different. I think I just teardrop most of it just to reuse a lot of the assets. And yeah, the master bedroom is very pink scale. It's really nice. And we start off with this bed from Cats and Dogs. And yeah, and that really sets the tone. I was worried about using the pink because of the red, but I really think that because it's a different tone, that it works, and it works well. Yeah, we went in with some paintings from Cats and Dogs. I really love these paintings. If you didn't know, if you actually use all 4 paintings, they actually make a complete picture. It took me the longest time to realize that, but yeah. I did this in a build a couple of weeks ago where I've put the paintings and positioned them with immaculate shelves. I really love how it looks, and I've done it again in this home. And we just clutter up the space with some seasonal objects. And yeah, these curtains are really great. I do use all the same curtains around the house except in the kitchen. We use my favorite base game ones. And yeah, a lot of assets from high school years, but obviously Cats and Dogs. I did make this home for a cat, I believe. So I hope I put a litter box in the other bathroom. Watch me forget it. Happens all the time. But yes, we've got a scratching post. We've got a little bed. Oh, actually, no. There's your litter box. All right, so we are going to move in to the toddler's room. So this is Freya's room. So she's a toddler. She's very silly. She's colourful. All her clothing's very colourful. Everything's brights and pinks and what have you. She's a playful sim, and I would perceive her to be a sim that's maybe really close with her dad. And I think that, a very sweet kind of relationship that she has there. And then her brother Noah is definitely more of maybe a geek. He really loves space. But he is a goofball. So he's a whiz kid, but he's a goofball. He even has glasses, just to kind of maybe pair on to that kind of, he's in the Scouts. And yeah, I really love his room. I loved the blacks. And we actually go in with the coolest wallpaper that just ties it in. This grey just ties it in. Alrighty, we are into the tour. We put the build in morning, and you can just see that beautiful light that just shines into the build. This is that beautiful living room and kitchen. I am so proud of the living areas of this home. I think this is an absolutely beautiful kitchen and living room. Just so cluttered, but like so intentional. Like nothing looks out of place. It looks really well lived in. It's just such a cozy little home. Here's that master bedroom. Lots of the pinks and blues. Freya's room and Noah's room. Noah's room is so out there and cool. I really love it. I think it's such a great build. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. So this is the home, our fall inspired coastal home, and I hope you did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.